Hey guys, we're back again. So once again, I have my friend Alan here, and years ago, it started out where I worked with a youth group, and there was a young man in the youth group who was a huge baseball fan named Steven. Steven, if you're watching, it starts with you, man. So fortunately, he's a Yankee fan, so we can all pray for Steven. But anyway, he after he graduated high school, I guess he went on a road trip, and he went to a couple of different stadiums, and he took tours of these stadiums, and he got some dirt, some actual dirt from the infield or the warning track, but anyway, it was on the playing surface somewhere of dirt, and he thought this was the coolest thing in the world. But as his little journey went on, I think he realized not many people think it's kind of cool collecting dirt. So he thought, who else would appreciate the dirt? Drew would appreciate dirt. So he calls me up and he says, Drew, I've got some dirt. And he did. He gave me some dirt, and actually gave me these nice little vials. And I have some dirt from Yankee Stadium. Thank you, Steven, as well as Fenway Park. And it's a dumb collectible, literally has zero value. We use the term dirt cheap when you describe something that has almost no value. Well, that's this part of my collection. But from that point, it expanded out. So we're going to go over my dirt collection and tell a couple of stories that Alan and I share within this of how we got some of this dirt. So the next one that I got was actually on my honeymoon. Part of my honeymoon, we went to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, walking around, and we walked around the corner, if you've ever been to Cooperstown, and there's Doubleday Field, and it's at night. Cooperstown at night is dead, nothing's going on, and I'm walking around the stadium looking in, and I found an open gate, and so I snuck into the stadium, and she was like, please don't get arrested on our honeymoon, but I just ran out and I scooped up, and I got a little bit of dirt from from Doubleday Field up there in Cooperstown. So again, my collection is starting to grow.
Yeah.
So again, in 2011, it would have been, it was my 40th birthday, and my wife planned a road trip with myself, with Alan, and another one of my longtime best friends, Sean. Alan flew in, Sean flew in, and we took a road trip together, and we went. So we ended up going to 2 different games in 2 different cities on 2 different days, back to back. The first place we went was Washington, and we saw the Nationals play the Braves. So we'll talk about, we had a plan. Let's get some dirt. This is fun, is what we figured. So go ahead.
Yeah, and the fun part about the dirt for me, and probably Drew as well, is the strategy. Thinking about how can we do this.
Definitely.
You walk into the stadium and you look, okay, how close is the field to how close are the stands to the field? Can you reach over? Can you get some? Just so happened in Washington's ballpark, we get there and we kind of scope out the stadium. We go down to where our seats were, that section there, and I don't think it was close enough to the field to reach down and scoop up dirt, but there was a security guard standing there. Nice guy. We started chatting with him a little bit. He appreciated the chit chat, and then I just asked him, "Hey, can you scoop up some dirt for us? We collect dirt, field dirt." And he like, "Yeah, sure.
Why not?" So I think you actually got a little cup from a vendor or something, a Dixie cup.
Yeah,
I think so. Anyway, scooped up some dirt, and this was our first adventure in dirt collecting together, and got some from Nationals Park,
Very
and
special.
thought, this is easy.
Yeah.
Well, little did we know. Next day, we're going to Oriole Park, going to Camden Yards. We're going to get some there, okay? And so this is what we do. We had already bought a tour. The game was in the evening, and we were going to go on a tour in the afternoon of the stadium and get inside. It was our first time there. We were just having a great time or whatever. And again, we're doing this strategy. What are we going to do? How are we going to get this? And they said, you're going to get to go out on the field. And when you do, please stay on the warning track. And we're like, the warning track. Okay, it's dirt, And you get to sit in the dugout or whatever. And it'd be roped off, but, we'll have a great time. Well, little did we know at that point, the warning track, Oriole Park, is cork, not dirt. And we found this out as we're doing the tour, and we are in panic mode. I'm in panic mode because I have to get the dirt, okay?
Right.
Sean is really in panic mode because the last thing he wants to do is rock the boat. He does not want to get in trouble at all. Alan is like, this is our chance. We have to get the dirt.
Have to get it.
So, oh my gosh, we're like, how are we going to do this? Because even when we come back to the game, the closest dirt that we could get to was the pitcher's mound, or really, I guess it was the batter's box. But there's no way. It's roped off. There's no way we can get this dirt.
We're there. We're on the warning track. We're in the ballpark. And thinking about how we're going to do this, Drew and I are actually lagging behind the rest of the group as we're going. So the rest of the group is going back in, back into the stadium from the field into the stadium. So Drew and I are kind of lagging back, trying to figure out how we're going to get field dirt. And honestly, I'm even thinking of turning back and darting out,
just running
and getting. So we turn to go in the tunnel back into the stadium, and there on the side there is a 5-gallon bucket of field dirt sitting there.
It was a little side room, a little closet. It was not a janitor, a groundskeeper closet. Rakes, things like that, and they had a little bucket or barrel of dirt to go out and fill holes or dry it off or whatever. And the look, we just knew. We looked at each other and jumped it and squirted it up. And so we have some official dirt that had the potential to go on the field. It was close enough. We're counting this one as a win. I'm trying to think what was next. Well, I'll mention one. Alan was not involved in this one. I actually wasn't even involved in one, but a good friend of mine, Chris, at the time was a director for a YMCA, and he had taken a group of kids down on a tour, and they went down to Atlanta to see a Braves game, and they had a tour on the field, and he texts me and says, guess where I'm in? I'm standing at home plate at Turner Field. And my response, get some dirt. I need some dirt. So he's like, oh, okay. So he scoops dirt up. He tells me he puts them in his pocket, and he starts to leave, but he has a hole in his pocket, and the dirt is falling out. He ends up in the parking lot and ends up taking a sandwich bag, puts a little bit in there they had, and that's why we have such a small amount of Braves dirt. But this was all that was left in Chris's pocket when he was done. But I do thank you, Chris, for still helping us out with this one, and yeah, that's a good story as well. So, and then, sorry, I don't keep. Why don't you go ahead and tell about yours?
Yeah. So, myself, my wife, and some other friends of ours, when we lived up north, we had a tradition of going to the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska, the historic Rosenblatt Stadium, which is no longer there. But on one of the trips there, after Drew and I had started collecting dirt, went to the stadium, knew I had to get some dirt, and a similar situation to what we experienced at the Washington ballpark. This time I talked to one of the players. So these college guys are down there, they're warming up. I go down there, hey, can you help me, friend? And he, one of the players from one of the teams, I don't even remember which team, went ahead and scooped up plenty of dirt for me and brought it back for Drew. And so that's one of the... one of the collection stories. That stadium is not around anymore. That's valuable dirt.
It is. Apparently it is, and I should cherish it a little bit more now that I know.
So Drew has these nice vials. I use shot glasses. I keep all of my dirt in shot glasses.
Only the best. Only the best.
Certainly. And then I think it's Wrigley Field after.
Yeah, as far as the last story with dirt for us, Wrigley Field. So a few years ago, my wife surprised me with a trip, met Alan in Chicago. We got to go to Wrigley Field, and historic field, and yeah, we got to get Wrigley dirt. And so we flew in. I think we went to a game that night, and we decided, let's just scope it out, see what happens. And a couple of things we realized very quickly. First of all, Cubs fans, they're very proud and happy about their team, and very, very protective of Wrigley Field. Very protective. Like, I had never seen this in any other stadium that I'd been to. And we went to we're going to scope this out, and it wasn't that bad. It was low, like we could reach over and actually scoop up some dirt. And so Alan's like, this will be easy.
Yeah.
Walked straight down and reached over, grabbed a handful. Instantly, swarm. Put it down. Drop the dirt. What are you doing? You can't touch. Oh my gosh. They threatened us to kick us out. Whatever. It's just some dirt. I just wanted a little dirt. Oh, you can't take dirt. And I said, it's just some dirt. Can we have a little bit for... No, absolutely not. Security was all over us.
Yep.
How dare us to deface or defame the great Wrigley Field. And so we have to So we go through the game. It was a great game, but we got to have a plan. So same thing. The next day we have a tour of Wrigley Field, another game that next night.
Right.
We've got to figure out our best way is. We don't know if the tour is going to go on the field, but this is going to be our best time. Hopefully, less security. So we go through the tour. Great time again, and sure enough, you get to walk down. We're going to walk on the warning track behind home plate. Please refrain from picking up anything. Right. Don't pick up grass. Don't touch the dirt. Take all the pictures you would like. I'll put some pictures in. You can see the two of us out there at Wrigley. But how are we going to do this? So we have our strategies. Right. I'm going to tie my shoe and shove some in my sock. How are we going to do this thing? So, oh my gosh, this is so funny. So, crowd, a little group, we're out there. How are we going to do it? We don't want to we'd already been chastised the night before and threatened for doing it.
They were watching us, for sure.
So, you want to tell what happened? It was fate. It had to be fate.
Yeah.
So
proposal. So a young man decides to propose to his girlfriend right there when we're all on the field, and at that point, everybody's heads turn towards this couple. The cheering
Applause.
erupts. Perfect moment.
Perfect.
To steal dirt.
So while they're enjoying this memory, and all the fans and people are clapping, I am busily and Alan on the ground shoveling up as much dirt as we can find and shoving it in our pockets, little Ziploc bags. I haven't actually put it in anything yet, even though it's been a few years. But I do have some original dirt. Now that it's public on YouTube, that very, very grouchy security guard may come find me. But anyway. But yeah, so those are great stories, and it's part of collecting. I mean, there's no value, but the value is in the stories, the living experience, and man, it was so much fun. So if you've ever collected anything bizarre, just strange things, or got some weird things from a stadium, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them. Let's read about them and just see what can we come up with. And by the way, if you got any dirt from a stadium I haven't mentioned, you let me know. Message me on the side. Maybe we can work out a deal. I got a little extra Fenway dirt or whatever it needs. But let's have some fun with it. But other than that, we appreciate it. Alan, thanks again for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for
chatting. And you guys be good.